Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg has accused Israeli authorities of torturing and humiliating her following her arrest during a Gaza-bound humanitarian flotilla mission. Her claims, echoed by other detained activists, have sparked international outrage, deepening tensions between human rights advocates and the Israeli government. In early October 2025, Greta Thunberg, globally recognized for her climate activism, became embroiled in a major international controversy after alleging that she and others were tortured during their detention in Israel. Thunberg was among hundreds of activists aboard the Global Sumid Flotilla, a convoy of boats attempting to breach Israel's naval blockade on Gaza to deliver humanitarian supplies and express solidarity with Palestinians. According to Thunberg, Israeli naval forces intercepted the flotilla in international waters roughly 70 nautical miles off the coast of Gaza. The vessels were boarded by commandos, and more than 400 people, including journalists, lawyers, and human rights defenders, were detained and taken to the high-security Ketzio prison in Israel's Negev desert. After several days in custody, most of the detainees were deported, including Thunberg, who returned to Sweden before issuing her explosive allegations. In a public statement, Thunberg declared that she and others were kidnapped and tortured. She described being denied clean water, medical treatment, and subjected to psychological humiliation. Activists said they were held in bug-infested cells, deprived of sleep, and forced to sit on hard floors for long periods. Several detainees alleged that they were struck, verbally abused, and mocked by guards. Thunberg claimed she was coerced into holding Israeli flags and being photographed against her will, describing the act as a form of psychological torture. Other detainees supported Thunberg's account, recounting similar experiences of mistreatment. They reported being forced to kneel with hands tied for hours, threatened with attack dogs, and deprived of food and medication. Some said they were made to strip or surrender personal items with Palestinian symbols, such as keffiyehs. Detainees described overcrowded and unsanitary conditions, with limited access to toilets and water. The accounts also mention guards using loud noises and shouting to keep prisoners awake, a tactic widely condemned as a form of psychological abuse. Israel, however, has flatly denied the allegations. The Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs called Thunberg's statements fabricated propaganda, asserting that all detainees were treated according to international standards. Officials claimed that medical services, legal aid, and basic necessities were provided throughout the detention process. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir praised security forces for their handling of the flotilla, saying the arrests were necessary to prevent provocation under the guise of humanitarianism. The contrasting narratives have sparked heated debate within international human rights circles. Organizations including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have called for an independent investigation into the allegations. Legal experts argue that if proven true, the reported actions would violate multiple provisions of international law, including the Convention Against Torture and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Under these frameworks, no exceptional circumstances, such as national security or armed conflict, can justify torture or inhuman treatment. Swedish officials have expressed concern, requesting clarification from Israel and urging a transparent inquiry. Meanwhile, Thunberg's focus remains on Gaza's humanitarian crisis. In her statement, she emphasized that her experience should not overshadow the suffering of Palestinians living under blockade. She reiterated that her activism seeks to highlight human rights violations, climate injustice, and global accountability, insisting, "Our silence only fuels oppression." The incident has reignited global discussion about Israel's handling of activists and the legality of the Gaza blockade. Critics view the alleged mistreatment as part of a broader pattern of suppressing international solidarity efforts. Supporters of Israel argue that the flotilla deliberately violated sovereign security restrictions and that the interception was lawful. Regardless of political stance, the accusations have intensified scrutiny on Israel's detention practices and its broader approach to dissent. The event underscores how humanitarian activism, especially when intertwined with the Gaza conflict, can expose deep divisions in global politics. As calls grow for an independent inquiry, Thunberg's ordeal has become more than a personal story. It symbolizes the collision of moral activism, state power, and human rights in one of the world's most polarized conflicts. Whether justice or accountability will follow remains uncertain, but the controversy ensures that the Gaza blockade and Israel's treatment of detainees will remain at the center of international attention.